Clicking record. So, good afternoon or good evening, everyone. Welcome to Remolody Reports. This is Newsbreak 43. I'm here with Frederic Laroche, who many people may know. He is a human rights activist and a former IT specialist who has been reporting non-consensual military/intelligence neuroexperimentation for many years, and who was recently in a court case where he was wrongfully prosecuted, and that case was covered at this channel quite a bit. I've also done a few interviews with Frederic, detailed interviews where he's talked about his situation and what he's been experiencing for several years, and a lot of disclosure really on the kinds of targeting that he's been subjected to and how it connects to actual brain experimentation, possibly connected to the European Brain Project, completely non-consensual, completely unethical, completely inhumane, but a lot of disclosure that he's picked up, a lot of clues, a lot of information that's been given to him, indicating that indeed he is the subject of a non-consensual experiment project. So Frederic is currently in France in his own home, and he has been reporting the last few days increased, escalated targeting abuse. And so things have been seeming very dire in his emails and Skype texts to me. So he has been very keen on coming forward and telling the world what really is going on. So everybody understands that, we kind of all have to watch out for each other. So welcome, Frederic. Thank you so much for being here. And really sad to hear about everything that's going on over here, and eager to hear you tell the story of what really is going on currently.
Yes, hello, Ramola. So thank you for inviting me, because actually this is from this summer that I am hoping to tell everyone what is happening here, because it's becoming more and more unbelievable. And I will maybe start by what has happened last week, and then I will go back a little in the past. And maybe we can finish with my court case, but maybe it's not the most important now. So I was having an appointment last Wednesday, 9 October. So I had to be out of home for the full day. I took a train, etc. And in the same time, there has been another event in my private life, but it became public. So maybe I can just say a word about it.
Definitely, go right ahead.
Yeah. It was last Sunday. I was having my Indian husband at home, and we were on the process to divorce. It was a friendly divorce, but unfortunately, I discovered at the last minute that this marriage was not a true marriage. It was a gray wedding, and I didn't know about this. I discovered it later with an association. And actually, my husband was waiting for the divorce, and me also, but when I was having some appointments and without any car at home being able to be used, I had to take the bus and the train, and he was alone in my home. And then he took the occasion to copy all my data from my PC without my knowledge, and he was deleting some files that he was thinking were his own. And it's only at the last day and the last minute that I discovered this. So we had a big fight. And I can tell you that this fight was not a small fight, because he was not able to understand my words. He was not able to move from here. And I told him, this is not your home anymore. We are divorced. Please, you go immediately. He was having a scheduled bus 3 days later. I didn't want him anymore in my home. So maybe I was very severe with him, because I told him to go, and he had no mean of transportation. So what he did, I took him a taxi. He went to the police station. He complained that I had tried to kill him with a knife. Actually, it was my gift of actor. So I just found in myself the pain that I had from the life shared with him, and I have used my pain to show him an ugly face with big eyes, and with shouting very loudly. And I took a knife on the kitchen table because he was far away from it, and I pointed at him. I made 2 or 3 steps in his direction, and he was so scared. He was bending. He was so scared that he said, okay, I go. It was the only way. So he went out, then he took the taxi and he complained to the police station about this. Now, my police station knows that I am a potential murderer, but it's all pretending, and it is false confession from him. And then he told them, I want his car because he has changed the name of the car from his name to my name, because I was having my license canceled by the court. So I had no choice if I wanted to have an insurance to put a name with someone who has a license, and he was having a license. So it's normal between two spouses to share the things, to share and put the names of one spouse to the things, etc. And he has used this because when the police came to my home, two military police, and they forced me to give him the key because his name was written on the paper of the car, even if I was having a separate bill to prove that I
But
have.
wasn't your name also on that?
No, on the bill it was my name, but on the paper of the car, the administrative paper,
Title, yeah.
was his name. So they said, then you give him the key, and he went away. He went away, and he went to Belgium. Now we have settled between him and me that the dispute is going to finish soon, because he just wants to be sure I am giving him the final papers of the divorce, and he will be satisfied. So he promised me to delete all my data, and he promised me to give me back the car. He was needing the car to go away from here because I have thrown him out. And it is maybe because of this, or maybe because of the last summer, what happened already here without him. So I don't know the connection between the things. The only thing I know is that on Wednesday, I was thinking maybe my husband may have done his threat to me. He has sent a kind of message because he was threatening, I will say you're mayor of your village, what you have done to me. And I was scared that my mayor will know this. But actually, I believe now that my mayor may know much more than this. And so I was thinking I should not go home. I should park the car away and go by walk, because maybe the police is there to search into my home or anything like that. I was a little suspicious, and I was indeed for a good reason, because I have come up from the hill above the village. I saw some people with torch and hunting dogs barking, walking around in the village, and then around my home and in front of the path with my letterbox going to my home. And then I came closer and I could hear the conversation a little. So there were three people, I think one man and two ladies with torch and dogs in front of my letterbox and my path. So they were blocking the entry or the exit, whether it was preventing me from entering my house or either it was to prevent me from escaping my house. I don't know. And they were talking about a deceived husband. So I believe it was about me, because I think they know from the dispute of last Sunday, maybe, and with the complaint to the police, maybe the mayor know about this, the police has told them. So they know there is something like that, because it was also one of the reasons this marriage was not a real marriage, because I was deceived by my husband. So I was thinking they are here for me. And I waited half an hour. They were still there. So I don't believe they were here to share a cup of tea. They were here waiting for me. So I decided to not go home because I don't want to cross the path of this person. I don't want to talk. I don't want to fight. So I went away and I stayed one night in a friend's home in Grenoble. And then at 4 a.m., I decided to make a second attempt to go to my home, but from the back of the home, by the fields. And then when I came, I saw a lady with a torch going from the hill in front of my garden, going down. And then I came a little on the side of my home, and then a dog barked. He was just in front of my home. He was not in the middle of the road. And I decided to not go home again. I came back and I stayed one day in Grenoble. And then it was Thursday. So Thursday, I waited the night again, the evening. I came back to my home, but with another road. This road is the road I use sometimes when I have the torture. I walk or I go by car and I find a place in the woods or the fields or the forest, and I try to rest or sleep there during the night or the day, because there is a small hill, and all the houses from the village, they are targeting my house over there, but they are not able to target in the other side of the hill. So I go there and behind the hill, and I try to rest. So I came by this road from the forest, and I came closer to my home. And I will share my screen to show you what I saw.
Yes, I was going to say it would help everyone if we actually saw some pictures, or if you could explain, what your house looks like. Is it a townhouse? Is it an apartment? And
Yeah,
how
so I
is it
can show you.
situated? Are there other buildings? That kind of thing.
So let me show you. So this is the city hall here.
Okay.
This is the kind of restaurant.
Mm-hmm. It's a lovely
So this
place.
is the church, and this is the White House that is almost always empty. And my home is over there. And there are other neighbors here. This is the new cemetery. This is the old cemetery, and they are building since 2-3 months the extension. And they are the trucks they use for the cemetery work. And this is my letterbox. This is my path. This is my home. So you see, it's full of fields, and my garden is here. And people were standing here, blocking my way. I could not go here, or because otherwise it would make the same situation as the accident of
Now,
2015.
is that the driveway to your house? Is that your house back there?
Yeah, this is my house here.
Okay, so this would be a private drive then, or a walk?
Yeah. Actually, they were standing here because here it's the main road, and here's my private path. But I have seen them with the torch going over there also. So they are not respecting fully the law. It depends if they are feeling alone in the middle of the night or in the middle of the morning. So this is the field in front of my home. This is the White House, the church. Some neighbors are here, and
that's the house again by the tree over there on the other side of the church.
Yeah, and then I have seen someone coming from here, down here, by the back of my house. This is my house. This is my main gate for my garden. And maybe there was a dog over here. So he was really not in the middle of the road. He was on my private property. And this is on the back of my home. And you see there is something here, like if someone or many people have walked on the grass, and we can see there is a line. So people were walking around my home. This is not normal at all.
So those are fresh tracks, is what you're saying, this kind of depression of the grass.
Yeah, and this is the back of my home. So I was coming from here to join my home, and at 4 a.m. in the morning, first the night, and I saw the lady, and this is the back of my home. So I saw the lady coming from here approximately, so coming from here approximately. So she was on my property. So this is the back of my home. This is also the back of my home. This is the back of my home with a path for the trekking. So maybe they were also using this path because maybe it's public. And
because they're passing through to get to a public trail of some kind, a hiking trail.
And this is the city hall, and this is the guest house. They have a guest house with 4 or 5 rooms. So this is another view.
So your home is somewhat close to these mountainous hiking trails, so it's conceivable that people would pass your house, but you felt that a lot more than merely passing your house was going on. You felt they were kind of loitering in your garden, and with the dog and everything, and trucks blocking the roadway, etc.
These trucks, they were not parked here. When I came, the trucks were parked in the middle of the road here, and it was blocking me from going home or from escaping to go to the forest. So it was almost here.
I see.
And I think when I came closer, maybe here or here, I saw a tent with light inside and few people inside. I could see the shadows. And there was also a lady standing up outside the tent with a torch. So they were camping just in front of my home, and they have put the trucks of the cemetery in the middle of the road at 4 a.m. in the morning. I think the tent was somewhere here approximately.
So do you think there are people who were kind of doing the kind of whatever remodeling or refurbishing of the cemetery is going on?
No, it was 4 a.m. in the morning. And so on Friday, I decided to call the secretary of the city hall. And
Good.
I told her I could not come home because some people were standing in front of my pass. And she was asking, oh, but you are not in the home now? You really? You are not in the home? So she was kind of expecting I was in the home. And she was not believing that I was outside. And
So you're suggesting that perhaps she knew what was going on
so
and
I told her right away there were some people standing, and I recognized the voice of my neighbor, Mr. Jourdan. And she said, no, I don't think so. And I said, yes. And there were plenty of people here. And maybe there was a tent on the next night and some trucks blocking the road. And she said, no, no, I don't think so. Or maybe you are confusing with a sport event. And I say, yes, at 4 in the morning. And then she kept quiet. So I think she was knowing something, but she didn't want to say anything. And when
yeah, so can we just pause for a second? It sounds like for some reason some barricading of the road was going on and
yeah,
barricading of your entry to your own home
yeah,
and
yeah.
even
Maybe to prevent me
egress,
from
possible
entering.
exit route as well.
Yeah, I think they were trying to block me because when I have the torture in the home, I have to go out because it's relieving me from the torture. Because the torture are only possible if I am staying in the home with all the houses in front of me. If I go a little away behind the hill, the houses cannot target me, and they are using the house. They are not using anything else. So if I go away from the village, I am not tortured. And they were blocking me from going to the woods or the forest or the fields because I can escape the torture. So actually, I don't know if their plan was to just block me or if they were here also to aggress me or fight with me or kill me. I don't know what was the thing in what was the plan. But the thing is that it's an escalation from the summer, because in the summer, I have been tortured. Before the summer, I was tortured every 2 months. And then in the summer, it was every month. And then in September, it was every week. And then,
When you say tortured, what exactly do you mean? Are you talking about EMF attacks on you?
yeah, it's EMF attack. And basically, they are doing two kind of attack. The main attack they use on me, they are also using it as an experiment on me. It's a sexual assault. So they use that to use my sex energy to overload my brain, and then my brain will collapse, and then they can take the control or whatever. And the other attack is to target the brain directly and to try to split it or to cut the connection between the right hemisphere and the left hemisphere. And they are trying to make me exchange the symmetry of my brain between the left and the right. So they are making me confused, and they are trying to make me fall into a state of unconsciousness or maybe a coma, and maybe they can provoke a brain death, or I don't know exactly.
That's
But
what I was going to ask. I mean, just looking at the effects on you, whatever they may be trying to do to you, I mean, I'm sure you know a great deal of what they're trying to do to you, but to those of us who are sort of on the outside, how does it actually impact you? What kind of effects does it have on you?
yeah, actually, I was under attack one Saturday night a few weeks before in September, and it was directly to my brain. So I was putting aluminum plates all around me, etc. It was not working well, and I could sit on the floor because the lower we sit, it's better for when there is electromagnetic fields. But anyway, it was very much paining. I could feel the heat, and I could feel the waves attacking my brain. I could not move my brain without them following me, and they were trying to make me become crazy in my mind. And I resisted by the knowledge I have from Robert Duncan books, The Soul Catcher. He's explaining everything, like how to attack a computer. It's the same how to attack a brain. So they were trying to use Trojan horses. They were trying to use the deny service, the attack of service.
Denial of service attack.
Yeah, so they were using this, and they were using all the things we can do with a virus. And I could understand in my brain, I could immediately see that it was this technique they were using. So I could be, very calm, and I just waited that they stopped doing this. And very late in the night, I think almost midnight, they have stopped, and I could sleep on the Sunday. But on the next Mondays, they started again. So I had to sleep in the forest. Then I escaped from home. I went to visit a friend for 10 days. I was in another mountain. And for 2 nights, it was perfect. But on the third day, we have seen my own website on the computer of my friend. It was a mistake because they have localized the place. And in the night itself, I was under attack again for the rest of the week with him. So I decided to come back, and it was the time to see my husband for the divorce. And all the time he was here, there was no much thing because they don't like there is a witness actually. And after that, we fought with my husband, etc. And then came the incident in my village with the people standing here at 4 a.m. in the morning, 2 nights consecutively, and with the dogs, the hunting dogs. And in my village, there are no dogs, so they are coming from far. And there were many cars parked in the parking of the city hall at night. I don't know where they are coming from. They are not the residents. So maybe, I don't know if they are the villagers doing this, or if it is external people coming from outside the villages, or if it is a group of hunters coming from everywhere, or if it is the Secret Service. I don't know, because I know there are electromagnetic weapons hidden in the home, even in the city hall, etc. So I believe the Secret Service may be, they may be here to tell the villagers what to do, what to think about me. And it's very easy because, when I came first in the village, I was having this car, and for 6 months I was using this car. So they knew.
This is the car, of course, that you've been doing all your activism with. It has these messages about targeted abuses and gang stalking and surveillance abuse, etc.
So know a little about me for 6 months. And when I called the city hall, I told the lady, well, I think I am not someone disturbing in the village, except with my car on the first 6 months, where with a lot of logo and text and etc. Because I'm doing political activities. And she said, well, I don't remember about this car, because she didn't want to say anything.
That's really interesting, isn't it, Frederic? Because I remember last year when they confiscated your car and everything. That was such a huge deal. The city wanted to steal your car, and then they had it, and they refused to give it back to you. And now they tell you they have no memory of this car.
Yeah. So.
But this is the same car that the keys for which you were obliged to hand over to your ex?
Yeah, it's the same car that I did the accident with, and it is confiscated, and for no reason. So I think it's because of the stickers. They don't want the publicity. So.
Right, but is this the same car that you had to hand the title over to your ex-husband?
No, I had bought a second car. He took this one.
Oh, I see. He took the other one. Okay.
Yeah. So I just can maybe finish with my court case. So I will try to see how can I do this. Okay, so it's here. So this is the place where the accident in 2017, 2nd May, has occurred. So my car was coming from here. There was the car, I got the accident from here, and there was another car going to this parking. And I was going to this place because I was having an appointment here. And here there is a CCTV, and I was here. This CCTV has never been used by the police. And if I go to the next, where is it? Here. Yes, here there is another CCTV, and this one has been used, but the accident happened over here. So it is a little far. And from this CCTV, they got only 3 pictures. 2 picture before the actual incident, and 1 picture at the end when my car was going away. And here, this is another CCTV they have not used, and the accident was over here. And here, this is 1 more CCTV, and the accident was over here. They have not used it neither. So this is one thing. This is my car. It's totally bent on the front. It's impossible to sit on the
right. It certainly looks like it.
If the lady was having her hand over here and doing the cross with with her arms, it means that she has jumped, and she pretends that I have forced her to lay on the windshield because she was afraid to go under my wheel. And actually, this is not possible because, you know, it's not possible to be on this high position without jumping. And and this is the place of the accident. So my car was the blue one. This is the car where the person troubled me. This is the car getting to parking. This is the place where the lady fell from a windshield to another car parked here, and she got injured on the other car. When she was on my car, she didn't get injured. Then I took this road and I went here to go home. Here it's one CCTV that has not been used. Here the CCTV that has been used. And so this is the place of the incident. So I think I have shown you what I wanted. So, and now I have the appeal on the 5th of November, but my lawyer told me he forgot two things: to ask for a counter expertise of the psychiatrist done in September 2017. And the psychiatrist, well, I did a mistake. I have talked about what happened and I gave my interpretation with the Secret Service. And she thought that I was crazy to believe in Secret Service doing such a thing as a retaliation from my activism and my mails sent to 3,000 deputies. So I made a mistake. I wanted to make a counter expertise and my lawyer didn't have the time. Now he forgot about asking and he doesn't believe it will be accepted. And then I asked him also to bring back my car insurance in the trial, because the last time I was in the hearing, the judge decided that the car insurance could not be in the trial anymore. So I cannot ask my insurance to pay for the 30,000 euro asked by the lady from her lawyer coming from Lyon. And it should be my insurance to pay that. And my lawyer forgot to ask to the court to bring back the insurance in the trial for the 5th November. And when I shouted at him, he said, well, it's too late now. I don't have the time to make all the paperwork and it's too late. You have to do with this. And then I told him what my strategy for defend myself. And he said, no, I don't want it. I will do myself. And I'm going to use the fact that your personality has a fragility. So again, they are going to talk about my personality and not about the facts, because they don't want to hear my version. They believe that the police and the witness and the lady are telling the truth, and they are telling that I have run fast, I have accelerated, and I have hit the lady and make her fall. So this is the
But
official.
you know, the CCTV video footage, as you point out, would very well clear up any misinformation.
They have not kept any copies of the videos, and they didn't inquiry about the other CCTVs, only one, and they have only 3.
So somebody's suppressing that information. The police in Lyon or wherever this happened, they are suppressing this information.
In Grenoble. It's very corrupted in Grenoble. It's a famous place for corruption. So, yeah, and
every place in the world currently is a famous place for corruption, it seems like.
Yeah.
It's and completely astonishing what's going on worldwide.
Tonight I was going around my home and I was measuring 0.1 volt per meter all around my home. And I saw one more person coming down from the hill with a torch. So I don't know if they are going to start all over again, because when I spoke to the secretary of the city hall, I spoke also with the neighbor and I asked him, were you here? And he said, no, I wasn't here. So he didn't want me to know he was here, but actually he said something that there was something. And so from that moment, I came back to the village. I saw a group of villagers. They saluted me. I saluted them, and we never do that. And then I came home, and no trucks, no tent, no one, no torch, no dog.
So it was a very good thing you went to the city and made inquiries, it looks like.
Yeah, it has calmed down the situation and they have stopped the operation. And you know, I have called the police also. You know what they told me? No, we cannot move this person. We cannot come to help you. We are not bodyguards. We cannot come to see the blocking of the road. And we have to take pictures to prove it, because we don't know about this. And if you are, aggressed by these people, then call the police. But they will take half an hour to come, so I have time to die. And if I feel in danger, just flee. What is this advice?
Yeah. So it doesn't sound.
The police is believing I am a kind of mad person because I went to the mental hospital and my mayor know about it. And the police also, and they are thinking I am dangerous and a criminal, maybe since also the complaint of my husband.
Well, it all seems very politicized, doesn't it, Frederick? It's
Yeah,
not just what they might be thinking, but what they are choosing to project. So that appears to be the scenario that's being played out around you, which is highly unfortunate, but which indeed is precisely what those who are targeted and who've been wrongfully rolled into these non-consensual neuroexperimentation projects are all reporting today, everywhere around the world. As you know, you're in Europe and you're reporting this, and the same kind of thing is going on in other countries in Europe, other parts of the world, including North America, Canada, the USA, and South America, and Asia, and Australia, New Zealand, etc. They're following the same protocol. It's like, the global Gestapo, as I've been covering with Dr. Karlstrom. So you feel everything has died down somewhat right now? What do you think the situation is currently?
well, since I came back Friday, they have stopped the operation, but they are still here attacking me, and they have just switched from brain attack to sex assault again. So they are starting all over, and then there will be the brain attack soon, and so it's never ending. And
Can you shield?
I have also a very huge gang stalking since 1 week. They have increased the gang stalking by 500% or something. So they are all everywhere when I go public. In my village, it's okay, but when I go to the city, they are everywhere. It's crazy.
I don't know if you've been following the news generally around the world. It seems like more and more the crimes of the worldwide organized crime syndicate is being exposed. Many different aspects of their crimes, the pedophile networks, etc., the drug trafficking, the child trafficking, all of this is being exposed. And in the US, there's a lot coming out possible. Everybody is hoping that all of the information about the mass FISA abuses is soon going to be fully exposed. So, and what people are saying now is that, these criminals are in a state of panic. And of course, we're talking about criminals inside the intelligence agencies, criminals inside the military divisions, inside special access programs where they are non consensually experimenting on people. They're all freaking out. And so they're actually attacking victims even more currently. So everybody needs to be very, very careful at this time, I think. It's very interesting that you're reporting both physical attacks and increase as well as, COINTELPRO, gang stalking style attacks around you. I certainly am seeing that over here as well, where I am in the Boston area. And many people have reported similar in other parts of the country in the US. So I would just say to everybody, be very careful, take the utmost care at all times, shield at all times. You are shielding at this time, Frederick?
Yes, I have this clothes. I think it's made in France, and it's a jacket, and it's made of silver and copper.
Good.
And I have also this. It's a hat. I can use it like this, and it's made of copper and silver also.
Wonderful. And does it help?
Yes, actually, it's not blocking everything, but it's lightening the feeling, the sensation. Yeah. So it's better than nothing. And now I am talking with you since half an hour. I think it's okay. I can stay sit. Otherwise, I cannot stay sit. I have to walk all the time in my home. I make circles, or in my garden, or I go out. It's my way to survive. And they are blocking my right leg. I have difficulties on my right leg since 1 week, and I think they are trying to prevent me from walking. So, in this village, I am isolated. I see no one. I have no friends, no contact. I have no car. I cannot move. I have one bus 2 times per day, and I have to book it 24 hours in advance. I cannot make my shopping easily. They have, with the judicial decision, the judgment, they have destroyed my life, and I have financial problems. I have a lot of debts. The lady is asking me 30,000 euro from the accident, and I have debts of almost the same amount. So how can I deal with this? And in this village, if they decide to make a group of vigilant neighbors with like a kind of military group with the hunters and the guns, they can decide to do whatever they want. The police will not come. No one will witness anything, and they will pretend after killing me that it's an accident.
Yeah,
So
I think what you are describing is absolutely brutal. And this formula of isolating people, that's straight from these military experimentation textbooks. What they do is they isolate their subjects of wrongful experimentation so that they can attack them more easily and control them more easily. And we're talking at this point about brain experimentation. This is like the worst thing on the planet. It's unprecedented. It's never happened before on the planet, but now it's happening all around the world. Apparently, it's been happening for more than 30 to 40 years, and it's been happening to different people. This is the same situation as associated with the MK Ultra survivors and reporters. And now we have a lot of people, coming forward to say that they're being targeted in this fashion. It's a brutal program. It's outrageous. It's inhumane. It's unethical. And the guys who are doing this should absolutely be held accountable, and be dragged off to jail. And all of their academic credentials and all of their professional credentials should be taken away from them for what they are doing, because this is not merely non-consensual experimentation, it is inhumane, unethical experimentation. So, Frederic, to that end, I think you have done a marvelous job today expressing exactly what you are experiencing in the here and now, in the current period of time. And those people who are out there, and I know that there are a bunch of neuroscientists and grad neuroscience students who seem to think that they're collecting information for future knowledge, for a future world. And these people who are being targeted are the unfortunate human sacrifices of the moment. I think they need to be educated as well as to the horror of what is going on, the unethicality of what is going on. And to that end, you're doing a marvelous job relaying exactly what's going on. So thank you so much, Frederic, for coming forward to tell everyone what's going on today. And I'm hoping that the fact that you're doing it will also be a deterrent in your immediate environs. These people will dare not attempt to attack you, given what you are doing, publishing and publicizing to the world the truth of what is going on.
And I thank you for making me talk about this. And Thursday, I have an appointment with the mayor, and I want to show him that I am a human being, and I hope he will, be moved, and maybe he will try to tell the people to stop this, or maybe he's banned. He cannot do anything. So I don't know.
Well, in many ways, local governments, local councillors, local mayors, they're having their hands tied by these special access projects and these military and intelligence projects. But it's time for everybody to find their humanity, their decency, and their conscience and start acting on that. And I think that is so important. That I'm so glad you're going to visit the mayor to actually display your humanity, because ultimately that's what this is all about. We are all humans, and some humans are being treated very badly, and their human rights have been taken away from them. This is absolutely unacceptable. So hopefully things will indeed change. Anything else you'd like to say, Frederic, before we close? Any suggestion for people to help in any way, perhaps?
Yeah, well, if I survive this, I think everything is possible because I think it's the worst thing I had during my 22 years of harassment. So it's looking like the final plan. So I don't know now. Well,
Well, you'll
I
definitely
have
be in.
just, I have
Go
just
ahead.
one thing. My sister, since the death of my mother in May this year, my sister is being targeted, and at her work, at some public place, and on her place of living. And she has told me recently that she has received a threat from the new neighbor about her dog. And she told me, I think I am having a targeted harassment. And this is the first time my sister talks to me about this, but still she doesn't believe it's done by the government. She believes it's only a few percent. But they have tried to do my sister after they have attempted to kill me in September. They are starting with my sister in October.
Yeah, and I'm so sorry to hear this, but that actually is testament to how these guys who are doing this, they are simply widening their circle of operations. They've got weapons now at their disposal that are so extreme, because these are remote access weapons. They are weapons of remote human access and remote neural access. They are powerful weapons, and they can use them against anybody. And they are indeed proving that they can use them against anybody. So until, humanity rises and starts regulating and stopping and banning and prohibiting, this kind of activity is going to go on forever, and everybody is going to be game for targeting. I mean, everybody would be vulnerable at some point, I would imagine. So Frederic, thank you so much again. Thanks everybody for watching. And if you can send Frederic information, advice, shielding advice, etc., please leave comments underneath the video, and I'm sure.
Place for me to stay in France for the moment because the judge don't allow me to go out of France, so they have blocked me.
Okay, and if you're in France as well and you're watching this and you understand what's going on over here, you understand these targeting abuses, these military neuroexperimentation projects, please get in touch with Frederic so that, you know, he'll have a bit of a support group where he is as well. So
you can contact with my website. You can go with the English URL. So it's rtortureisreal.com. This is the English one, and you can find the email address somewhere.
Brilliant, and we'll post all of that shortly underneath the video. So rtortureisreal.com, and you've got the same thing in French, right? Notre
torture est réelle.
Area. Yeah, brilliant. So, okay, we will definitely post all of that. So thanks again, everybody, for watching. Thank you so much, Frederic. Hang in there. You know, wishing you the very best, and we'll talk again very soon.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.